just look at that. That is an absolutely fantastic traditional dessert. That is incredible. Hi everyone, welcome to Backyard Chef. I'm Rick. Today we are doing a real traditional English treacle tart. Now, this dates back to the 19th century when they used to make thick treacle tart. And then sometime in the 19th century it changed to a lighter version, which we know now, using golden syrup. But it is still called treacle tart. Okay, so this is an absolutely fantastic quick recipe to make using bread. Now, if you've got a couple of day old bread and you're not going through the bread very quickly, make your own breadcrumbs, not dry breadcrumbs, fresh breadcrumbs. This recipe calls for fresh breadcrumbs, golden syrup, and some lemon zest and juice. It's that easy, and I'll put a couple of more ingredients in just to spruce it up a little bit. So it starts with making some pastry. Let's make the short crust pastry. In here I've got flour and I've got my fats. So let's show you how to do it. Come on. I've got shortening and butter. I'm going in with a pinch of salt, and then we're going to get in here and we are going to give it a mixing up. Just get your hands in, bring it together, finger and thumbs, nice and gently, just squash it in there. You know, and as you can see here, this is not cold butter by any means. It's butter that's been sat on the side. Not to worry, it'll still make a fantastic short crust pastry. So nice and gently, finger and thumbs, lift up, squeeze together, lightly, just lightly squeeze together. And then all we do is we just lift up and give it a rub. Lift up, give it a rub it through our fingers and thumbs, and just lift up and give it a rub. It's as easy as that. As you know, you can make pastry in a food processor and takes only a few seconds. However, it takes 10 minutes to clean, whereas you make the pastry in a bowl, it takes 5 minutes and 1 minute to clean the bowl. So this might be a better option. So lift up, give a rub, and what we're after is the consistency of breadcrumbs. Nice and straightforward. Lift, rub through your finger and thumbs. Just lift up and rub. So there we go. That's looking okay. We've got a nice breadcrumb consistency there. Fantastic. I've got a bowl of water and I'm going to add apple cider vinegar to the water. I'm going to crack in an egg and we're going to give it a beating. Just beat it all up. And then we are going to add our beaten egg to our flour mixture. Get it in there, turn over the fork you've been using and stir it in with a handle. And when you've got it mixed in as much as it'll go, we've got to get our hand in and bring it all together. Nice and straightforward this. Just bring it together gently so the dry stuff gets in with the wet stuff and we end up with a really nice workable dough. As you can see, this is a nice crumbly, no-fail pastry. It looks superb. And just bring the ball together, and then we have too much for one pie here. We're going to split it in two. Now you can freeze one half of this, or you can just leave it in the fridge for another project. It's just easier to make this quantity because we use a whole egg. As you can see, it's nice, it's crumbly, well formed. All we need to do is roll it into a dish shape and put it in some cling film. We put it in the cling film, we wrap it up, and then it all goes in the fridge for 30 minutes. Now yes, I've done pastry and I leave it on the side, but recommended let it settle in the fridge for 30 minutes before rolling out. And the idea of rolling a disc like this is just easier for us to roll out. So that's that one. We do the other bit. Just squash it down. Want that little bit of a disc shape. That's it. So that's our 2 bits of pastry. Now like I say, you can put one in the freezer and one in the fridge, or you can just freeze both. Okay then, I've got one of these little gizmo things here, you know, with all the blades in. Now you can pull all your bread to pieces if you want. It's got this multi-blade thing. You can pull all your bread to pieces if you so wish and do it by hand. I'm going to just rip this up, chuck it in here, and I'm going to give it a zapping just to make those breadcrumbs. Now it should work. I mean, they are blades. Now I've got about 150 grams of bread here. I weighed it out just now. Got about 6-7 slices. Maybe it's 8, I don't know, I didn't count just then. I weighed the bread. So we're going to put that in there and we're going to whiz it up. And hopefully we should end up with some breadcrumbs. So on we go. That's got it. So there's our breadcrumbs in there. Lovely, fresh breadcrumbs. We use breadcrumbs in this, fresh breadcrumbs. They soak up the golden syrup when we make the filling. Now I have made it with dry breadcrumbs, and yes, it works. You just have to let the dry breadcrumbs sit a little bit longer before adding it to the filling. So you can use dry breadcrumbs, but the traditional way is to use old, fresh bread, if that makes sense. So it's not stale bread, it's still quite fresh, so it can absorb. As for per usual for anything I do like this on this channel, this is a 9-inch loose bottomed tin. Now I do line it. I always line the bottom, and you can keep using this liner, you know. Just leave it in there until it actually absorbs everything that you've been cooking, and throw it away, put another one in. All it is baking paper. Lasts for ages. Okay, so I've lined the tin. There we are. It's a 9-inch springform flan tin. And that's what we're going to put our pastry in. And then we're going to pre-bake it. Straightforward. A little bit of flour on there. Out with our pastry. Now, the pastry's not too cool actually. It's not been in the fridge long enough, but don't worry about it. It's fine. Okay, bit of flour on there, bit of flour on there, and we need to roll it out. Now, common sense says we've got to roll it out to the size of the tin, but we want an overlap, a slight overlap over the top. Okay, that's about got it. We want that in there. Very simple. Lift up and drop in. Just push up to the top like that. And that's going to hold the pastry up when we blind bake it. And then we're just going to trim that. Just trim off, but we need an overhang, okay? So just leave that little bit of an overhang on there. And what's going to happen is when this bakes, it's going to stay on there, and then we're going to trim it afterwards. It's my preferred way. It gives a neater edge and it doesn't sink. Pastry, screw back up, put back in your plastic, use it again. I'm using the high sapienza air fryer. As per usual, it's sat in the kitchen, we're using it. So we want this on, and we want to preheat for about 170 degrees. So set the temperature. Now you would probably preheat 180 in your normal oven. That's going to wear away, that's preheating. What we need to do is dock this, that means stab it with a fork. The reason for docking it or stabbing it with a fork, it stops it all from puffing up. Okay, most people that make pastry already know that. For all you guys that are just starting to make pastry, stab it in the bottom, stops it from puffing up in the oven. Screw up some baking parchment. Now I use this quite regular, as you can see. Stick it in the bottom, and I'm going to use baking beads. Now you can use rice, you can use anything. I've seen people use sugar. Okay, baking beads in there. These are ceramic baking beads. Now just bring out to the side, and that's going to hold the pastry out and not bring it in. And then when the oven's preheated, that's going in there for 15 minutes. Okay, that's enough for me. This is an absolutely superb oven. You know, if you on the market for an air fryer oven, I would recommend this. I use it all the time, as you well know on this channel. Okay, that goes in there. We're going to set the time on there for 15 minutes. 170, 15 minutes, and that will bake. That will be pre-baked. Okay, there you go. There's ahead the time. Let's have that out of there. All those baking beads out of there. I am using an egg in my filling, so we're going to give it a beat, and we're going to egg wash the bottom of this tart tin, or this tart pastry. So a nice little egg wash on there, and then it goes back in the oven for about 2 minutes. Okay, it is an old-fashioned way which people forget about, but this goes back in there for no more than 2 minutes. It seals over the bottom, it stops you from having a soggy bottom, and you can put anything in there. 99.9% of whatever you put in there, whether it be quiche, filling or anything, will not soak through the pastry. You will have a perfect crust pastry every time. So let's get that back in there. Okay, it's had 2 minutes. Let's bring it out. There we have it. That is our sealed pastry. Okay, so it should not have a soggy bottom when we put it back in. Right, we're going to cool this a little minute, and then we're going to trim off. So I'm just going to put that to one side, and we're going to crack on with the filling. Okay, in our pan then, we want some butter. So we want a nice gentle heat on there to start melting that butter down. Not too hot at all. In there, our golden syrup. In there with a tablespoon or two of black molasses or treacle. This makes it more traditional. It'll have a darker finish. Also, it will give that smokiness in there that you have with dark treacle. It just makes it more traditional. You know, everybody goes for golden syrup these days, and they forget about the original treacle taste. I'm also going in there with a pinch of salt, because this was unsalted butter. Salt is optional, but works really well with sweetness. Okay, we don't want to boil this. We just want to gently bring all that together in there. Now you can make this without butter, but you know, the butter adds that really nice buttery flavour through the sweet. You know, it's not overly sweet then, it gives it an underlying type caramel flavour through there, but it's not caramel. Okay, this is the zest of a lemon and about 3 tablespoons of lemon juice. That goes in. Give it a stir. Turn off the heat. Job done. That's as easy as that. Just let it cool a little minute and then we'll put our breadcrumbs in. Okay, and then we're just going in there with all our breadcrumbs and give it a stir in. Now, as you can see, this is a fantastic, easy sweet to make. You can see why it evolved. It used up the new ingredients of the time, which was treacle, and then onto golden syrup. Also using up bread as a filling. A touch of citrus in there with the lemon, change the flavour, good old-fashioned English butter in there, and you have a fantastic sweet. Okay, we're going to let this cool a little minute. In here I have that beaten egg. In here I have about 3 tablespoons of whole milk. Now you can use cream, not a problem. Okay, we're going to give that a mix in there. And we are going to add it to this, but we're not adding it yet because this is still too hot and it will cook that to scrambled eggs in there. Let this cool down, then we put that in there, put it in our tart tin. So we just need to trim off that pastry. Nice and gently trim it off. Now this is my preferred way. However, you know, you have your own way. If you want to blind bake it and take the pastry off originally before it goes in the oven, that's up to you. But I think this gives this a really nice finish. It's down to personal choice. So there is our tart. Look at that. Absolutely fantastic. Right, now what we need to do, just put that to one side. We need to take our mixture and we need to stick our finger in there, and you're all going to moan, but we want to know how hot that is. Okay, it's not hot. And then what we're going to do is stir our cream mixture, or in my case, egg and milk, in there. Stir it through. Perfect. And that's going to give a really nice, creamy consistency to our old-fashioned treacle tart. So in we go. It can't be any easier. Now you can either give it a jiggle to try and level it, or you can bring it to the sides first and then give it a jiggle. So just do that with a spoon. That is our old-fashioned English tart. That goes in the oven. We reduce the oven temperature now. Okay, you would reduce your oven temperature to 150 degrees, 300 degrees F, and bake for about 15 to 20 minutes. I'm going to reduce this one to 140 because it has a bake setting on here. And we are selecting the bake setting and we're going to bake it for about 17 minutes. In fact, we're going to bake it for 20 minutes and we'll have a look. So set your time, 20 minutes. Oh, there we go. We get it out. Oh, that is amazing. Now that is something else. Now that is absolutely something else. That truly is a fantastic traditional treacle tart. Okay, what we're going to do, we'll let it cool down a little minute. Oh, I'm so happy. It smells fantastic, and I'm not going to serve it with custard. I'm going to serve it with vanilla ice cream. Oh, my mouth's watering. Okay, we'll let it cool down a little minute, and then we'll take it out of that tray. We need to serve this up. It's still warm. That's how it wants to be. We're serving up a warm pudding, but you can eat this cold. Right, for all those people who keep leaving comments, it's as easy as that. It is not hard to take this tart out of the tin. And on the bottom we have our base. It's a bit warm. So there we are. That's how easy it is to get that off that tart, or take that tart out of there. That just comes out. Okay, job done. Get in here and take a slice. Nice crumbly pastry. Right, we need to take a reasonable slice because it's a pudding. Crumbly, crumbly, perfect pastry. Look at that. That is English tart made. And you can smell that lemon coming out there. You know, the lemon and the butter, it's reminiscent of lemon curd. It smells amazing. Okay, serve it up. Look at that. That is English treacle tart made. Just look at that. Okay, I'm going to serve mine with some vanilla ice cream. Oh, just look at that. That is an absolutely fantastic traditional dessert. That is incredible. All we got to do now is give it a try. Before we get going, just let me show you. Under there, perfectly, pastry bottom, not soggy. Amazing. What does it taste like? Oh, come on. Crunch through the pastry. Oh. 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 Oh, that is incredible. That is absolutely superb. Lemony. You've got that treacle through there. We've got that nice soft top. And you know, serve it with some vanilla ice cream or clotted cream or cream. Your choice. That is to die for. Amazing, amazing sweet. Now, there are variations all over the world of the English treacle tart. This is an absolute cracker. Hope you make it, hope you enjoy it. Leave a comment if you do. Now don't forget, like and subscribe, share with your friends, all that kind of stuff. We'll catch you in the next video.